Oh, whoops. I thought I was prepared. Apparently, I turned it off earlier instead of on. Um, okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. Anyway, starting over again. I'm back, and I'm sure a lot of you know that we had some hiccups last week, to say the least. We had a few hiccups, and it it didn't go very well. I finally did get around to doing a show, and it was actually a lot of fun when we got to it, but a lot of you guys missed it, I think, because there were so many issues with it. So, anyway, I've tested earlier. I did a test to make sure we don't have any kind of issues, hopefully this week. So I checked my internet connection. I did a little bit of adjusting to like my actual setup, so hopefully things go smoother. Um, just know that there's a possibility that something might go wrong. If for some reason things go really wrong today, I unfortunately won't be able to do like I did last week, where I went out into the living room and like just did a show from there. That was actually a lot of fun. But due to the current situation we're in, I'm not really able to do that this time around. So just in case something does happen today, I don't think I'll be able to do a show today at all, but I think we'll be good. I have everything set up. Uh, I adjusted some things, and funny enough, even the lighting setup, you might notice today it's a little bit dimmer. I usually have more lights on, but I made it softer today, and it seems that actually helps with like the streaming and like the smoothness and the legging. It seems like that actually helps with that. So yeah, without further ado, yeah, everything is looking good so far. Everything is smooth, which is crazy. Usually it's not like that even normally. You can see even my cup. You guys know usually when I bring my cup up here, it freezes like crazy. I adjusted the lighting and everything, and now everything is like, look how smooth it is. Yeah, look at that Coaster Cafe mug. You want to buy it. Look how smooth it is. Yeah. Um, yeah. So I'm drinking actually the very last of my Rocketeer blend that I've had so many times on here. This is the last of it. I really need to order some new coffee to try out. Oh, there it goes freezing. Oh, I spoke too soon. Anyway, so that's what kind of coffee I'm drinking. Um, and we're gonna go over the news real quick. There are some pretty significant news items we have here, and I know you guys have heard about these. Yeah, so let's get into it. And actually, I just realized there's a really important one I didn't add on here, so let me add that real quick to make sure we cover that, because we want to cover that. All right. So here's what's going on this past week. The crowd levels have been very light at Universal, and it seems like that also applies for other parks that I've seen, like Six Flags Over Georgia. I know had some pretty light crowds. Arnold's Park started to spike, and we're unfortunately seeing that. Cases are going way back up in some parts of the country. People, if you're going to go to the park, um, if they require you to wear a mask, wear a mask. Remember to social distance, follow their procedures. Um, Even if you don't agree with them, who cares? It doesn't matter if you agree with them or not, because guess what? This is about everybody. And if we want to get back to going to the parks, you need to follow the protocols that are in place. There's a good reason these protocols are in place. Um, and we're seeing parks close back down now. And to be quite honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we see parks closing down more that have opened back up. Make sure you follow those protocols. Um, and everybody's complaining about the mask. So much negativity about that. Wearing the mask is not about you. That's about keeping everybody else safe, including all of the staff members and the ride operators who are working so hard to make sure we can get back to these parks. We need to keep them safe too. That's very important. They're working with a lot of people, getting their hands on everything, and they're just trying their best to make sure that we have a good time this summer. So we need to respect that and we need to work with them. We need to work with the parks on this. Let's not make it any more difficult than it has to be. Let's get the parks open as soon as possible. Don't you guys want to get back to riding coasters? If you're if you're so worried about the damn mask and you don't want to wear it, don't go to the damn park. Like, if you're not going to follow the protocols, don't go to the park. This is not a surprise to anybody. I'm going to get off my rant now. But that was something really important that I feel like needed to be said. Um, so let's go. The next news item we have, Blue Harvest for Growing a Lund, their new B&M invert for 2021. Track has been spotted at Claremont Steel Fabricators, not too far from Kings Island, as many of you know, where they produce the B&M track. There's track on site there for Blue Harvest, and I know some track has been installed at Growing a Lund already. Um, let's see, Fantasy Island in New York, the site is mostly cleared, but more on Fantasy Island later. Lagoon is now requiring face masks in the queue lines and recommending them when you're walking around the park rather than just recommending them across the board because once again cases have gone up. A lot of people were not wearing masks in the park. There were many pictures going around of nobody following social distancing, nobody wearing masks. I mean, it was crazy. So now they're requiring masks in the queue lines. A new LED K has been placed on Knott's observation tower, and a Knott's Berry Tales car has been seen in maintenance. Elish Garden staff is being hired, and their rides are testing. The Meow Wolf Kaleidoscope is not opening this year due to COVID concerns. You know, it's one of those dark rides that has like the guns that you have to hold on to. So that would be a big concern. Thunderbolt, which is their suspended Himalaya ride, is being removed. And one of the park officials said that the park will be moved to a new, even bigger location where the time comes for the park to close down. We heard about that plan about a year ago. Um, but yeah, Revesco Properties said that the park will be moved when the time comes, which, as a lot of you know, that would be the second time the park has been moved to a new location. Of course, the original Elish Gardens was moved to the current location back in after 1994, 1995, because that original one closed down and they moved it to this location. So this would be the second time Elish Gardens has moved. Hopefully, a new move means a better park, you know. SeaWorld, actually, I'm going to cover all that stuff later. SeaWorld San Antonio is planning a possible new mock power splash and scream and swing for 2021. That's pretty exciting. Fantasy Island in New York could return as something new for 2021. So there's a possibility Fantasy Island could be saved in some capacity. Could be in the form of a new park owner making a new amusement park, or maybe it would just be more of like an entertainment complex sort of situation and they have like Silver Comet, and I don't know, but Fantasy Island might not be done for yet. We might have another resurrection story here, which would be amazing. Wicksteed Park in the UK unfortunately has gone into administration. So that's a bummer. Very small park, but they had a really cool old fashioned shoot ride, which looks like a lot of fun. Planet Coaster, for any of you video gamers out there, anybody who's just into Planet Coaster is coming to next generation video game consoles. So that sounds exciting. Catwoman's Whip at Six Flags St. Louis is likely not going to open until 2021. In fact, the pieces for the ride were hauled away from the park into an unknown site. So that ride probably won't open to 2021. Kind of a shame there. Wonderland Park in Texas reopened Friday evening, just yesterday. It was supposed to open back up. Circus Adventure Dome is open in Las Vegas. Tivoli Gardens is now open. So, yes, there's a few park openings there. We have, this is what I wanted. I started talking about briefly, and then I said I'd cover it later on. This is what I'm going to end with the last two big news items. So, first of all, SeaWorld. What the heck is SeaWorld doing? This does not look good for them. And I've joked about this since, threatened to be sued because they haven't paid certain construction companies who have like built various projects for the parks. Well, now SeaWorld San Diego is hit with a 3.3 million lawsuit for Emperor, a 3.5 million plus dollar lawsuit for BGT for Iron Gwazi, two various projects that are going on. So SeaWorld is getting hit with all of these um, potential lawsuits at once because they've decided they're not going to pay for anything right now. And this is probably a strategic move on their part. They're probably just trying to hold off on paying them for now because of everything going on. And they're probably planning on paying them later. So this is seems like it's probably just like a formality, different things, and they're not handing over the control to SeaWorld, which means we're likely not going to see a lot of these rides open anytime soon. Um, but this does not look good for SeaWorld. I mean, it just does not look good at all. I'm not trying to say that they're in danger or anything. I don't think SeaWorld's like going down or anything like that. I'm just saying like from the public's point of view. So, all right. And the last thing that I want to end with here, this is really, really exciting. And you guys all know what I'm talking about. Um, there's a new Super Loop coming to Cedar Point next year. It's going to be the highest, fastest, longest, fastest accelerating even Super Loop in the world. There's actually going to be two of them intertwined, so they're going to be like looping around each other. And no, I'm just you guys know I'm pulling your leg. So Kentucky Kingdom, uh, some some documents have come forward that were filed back in February, um, that shows coordinates for an exact location in the park. So we know exactly where this is going to be going, but it's a new roller coaster. And in fact, the roller coaster structure on these documents is described as a Raptor. That's what it says, Raptor. It's listed as 108 feet tall. And we know the exact location where it's going to be. Suffice to say, it's pretty close. It's not confirmed, but we can pretty much deduce that they're not. Yeah, it'll probably be a dueling SLC, right? Oh my gosh, that news segment was hilarious. You guys probably saw that news segment. That was freaking hilarious. But but yeah, it looks like Kentucky Kingdom is going to be getting an RMC Raptor for 2021, 108 feet tall. We know the exact location, and I looked on Kentucky Kingdom's map, and where this is going to be located, it seems like one of those Raptor clones would fit perfectly in that area. Um, so this is really exciting, really exciting. Yeah. So yeah, if you guys don't know, when Kentucky Kingdom found out that those plans got leaked, their social media department is great. They're just amazing. They're hilarious. They know that T3 sucks. They know that everybody hates T3. So they got on social media and they said, "Oh, plans have been leaked for a new coaster for 2021. Um, we can only hope," or something along these lines. "We can only hope that the dream of a dueling SLC comes true." And they put this concept image, quote unquote concept image, on. So it's obviously nothing's fancy, not a fancy Photoshop or anything, but it kind of looks like there's two T3s right next to each other. So the local news station from around that area reported that Kentucky invented looping coaster, and it's going to be called T4. So and that was the joke Kentucky Kingdom made, that their hopes and dreams of a dueling a coaster called T4, a dueling SLC, you know, hopefully that would come true eventually. And the media went with it. They ran with it, and I watched that. At least that made my day. Like it's pretty awesome. Kentucky Kingdom, I love their social media department. They're hilarious. Like they're always joking about T3. They know it's a crappy ride. but they're in on the joke, and they just leaned into it. They leaned into the when they found out the plans leaked, they leaned into it. They made a joke out of it, and the news ran with it. So right, right. Yeah, the current Kentucky Kingdom management, they did not build that ride, but at the same time, that ride's not going anywhere. They put the new trains on it when the park opened back up, the new Kentucky Kingdom. And honestly, there's no reason why they should remove it, even though then they're gonna be like, oh, that's a great thing wrong with it. Um, but yeah, there's no reason they will remove it. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, I don't think. Um, for better, or for worse. But yeah, guys, it does okay. I see there's some shit for you to wear a mask, you wear a mask and you social distance. Social distancing is very important. Are making this possible for all of us. They are potentially putting themselves at danger because they might not want to be doing this, but they are. They're working hard to make sure the parks are open for us. Please, 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 people, just follow the protocols. It's really not that hard. Um, you can make all the excuses you want, but it doesn't matter. You know what's required of you. It's not a surprise to anybody. Um, just follow the protocols when you go to the parks. Yeah, if parks did make their masks and like sell them with like logos of the park, eat that up. I mean, that'd be a great business move for them. I think some parks maybe will do that, honestly. Um, and then maybe people would want to wear them more, like, oh, look at me wearing a Steel Vengeance mask. I'm cooler than you. Like I feel like that would be a thing. So I think some parks will do that, honestly, because I've thought about that. An SBF Visa mask, Penfari mask. Oh gosh. Uh PTC mask would be awesome. That PTC logo is amazing. So very classy logo there. So yeah, what do you guys think about all that? About all the news going on this week? Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff there. So Storm Chaser mask, T4 mask. We need T4. Yeah, we'll put that picture that they put on their social media on the mask. The concept art. That'd be funny. Intimate masks would just break. So true. They probably would. Yeah, I mean, you could make a mask with anything on it, and it would be a huge hit for like if Cedar Point sold masks with logos on there, like 150th anniversary logos, or just slap the logo of the coaster. All right, guys. Well, um, what now that we have everybody listing off every possible roller coaster, inserting a roller coaster, and then putting mask in the chat. Um, um, yeah, let's try to keep it civil in the chat, guys. I know there's a lot of everybody has their own opinion, and of course, everybody's opinion is right. That's how it goes on social media, and whatever you think, just follow the park protocol. That was my whole reason for bringing it up in the first place. I don't care what you think about it. You know that the parks require you to follow these protocols. So if you want to go to a park this year, you're going to follow those protocols. There's there's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you're a coaster enthusiast like I am, which I know you got, and you really want to go to the parks this year, you follow the protocols when you go, or if you don't want to deal with those, you don't go to the park. Simple as that. So, yeah, whatever you think. I have my own thoughts about it, and I know everybody else has their own thoughts about it. Um, it doesn't matter. The parks are requiring this. It's no surprise to anybody. In fact, they do everything they can to make you aware of that. I know I really want to get back on some coasters, and I'll deal with that. And I also don't want to put the people who are working so hard for all of us in danger. If you don't follow the rules, they can kick you out, you know? So I'm not going to get too much more into that. We could sit here, people could argue all day about this. And like I said, I don't really care what you think about it. If you're going to go to the parks, you're going to follow the protocols. And, you know, if they recommend you wear a mask, I would suggest wearing one. If they require you to wear a mask, you wear a mask. That's, as simple as that. Um, so yeah, let's get into the trivia now. Are you guys ready for trivia? Because I'm sure ready for some trivia. Um, got a couple interesting questions, I think. Maybe you guys will learn something from these. All right. First question. Name name a coaster in the United States. Okay. No. All right. Okay. Apparently, we couldn't hear the question. Okay. I'll repeat it. I'll repeat the question, guys. So let me make sure. I know it's starting to lag quite a bit here, and hopefully, we don't start running into an issue. But anyway, I'll repeat the question. Here we go. Oh, a coaster in the United States designed by Steve Akamoto. Oh, so a coast. I'm gonna put a list here from RCDB of coasters designed by Steve Akamoto right there. So there's a list of coasters designed by Steve Akamoto, and the only one that's not in the United States is Steel Dragon 2000. Um, Now our have him as a designer. Like I would have actually accepted Santa Monica coaster, the Santa Monica West coaster. I would have accepted that because according to one source I found, Steve Akamoto designed that. But yeah, he designed Mamba, Steel Force, and Wild Thing. So yeah, Wild Thing at Valley Fair opened in '96, Steel Force and like I said, I would have accepted that as well. And of course, in Japan, he designed Steel Dragon 2000. So, and most of those rides, I mean, besides, but slight differences between all of them, and he did design all those. So, hell's one. But hopefully you guys learned something from that. You know, um, Yeah, I don't know about Superman El Ultimo Escape. Like I said, Steve Akamoto may very well have designed many other Morgan coasters, but maybe RCDB just doesn't give him the designer credit on those. It's very well possible, but I'm just basically going off of RCDB. So yeah, actually worked for Aerodynamics at one point as well, and now he works for Dynamics Attractions. So Yeah, Steve Akamoto started at Aerodynamics. He went to Morgan, and now he works for Dynamic Attractions. And guys, wait for it to get a little bit more stable here. All right. Was of fun from 1973 through 1984. I'm looking for the name of the Schwarzkopf Wildcat model coaster that operated at Worlds of Fun from 1973 through 1984. Schwarzkopf Wildcat, once again, operated at Worlds of Fun from 1973 through 1984. What's the name of it? What was it called? Very interesting name. Actually, most of them are, but this one was not just called Wildcat. Nope. Everybody's guessing Wildcat. It is not called Wildcat. This one actually had its own unique name. So, yes, okay. So a couple of you guys got it. And I'll put that RCDB link here for any of you that didn't see it. But it is called, let's see, I'm going to try my best. It's called Shoosh Boomer, maybe Shush Boomer, Shoosh Boomer. Um, yeah, so that's the Schwarzkopf Wildcat coaster that was at Worlds of Fun. It operated from 1973 to 1984. It was 44.3 feet tall, 1,509.2 feet long, and it was named after being at Worlds of Fun for 11 years. So there you go. There's a little bit of knowledge for you about Worlds of Fun's history, I guess. Apparently, I'm looking at some updated news here. Okay, and Camden Park is, yeah, it's German. Like I'm pretty positive it's a German name. I realize that. So yeah, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. For all right, so we have here land. Nigaloland in France will reopen the park on July 11th, 2020. When the park opens, they will also premiere their new roller coaster, Noisette Express. This is actually a new children's coaster from Art Engineering, who also built the duplex for Hazelnut. So this would be the Hazelnut Express and explain the squirrel theme. So yeah. And also, according to an entry on RCDB, Nigaloland has confirmed that they planned on adding a new coaster for the 2021 season, but no details have been given yet. Of course, with the pandemic throwing a wrench into many of the best laid plans, it would be no surprise to me if they opt to delay this project by an additional year. We shall wait and see. So, yeah, there's a little bit of news for you there. Your dog was barking at you, so you had to write it in the chat, huh? Of course, that's how it works. You write it in the chat, and your dog listens to you. Guy, I know it is lagging a lot now. It started off really smooth. Um, I'm so sorry. It is lagging a lot now. I don't know what the issue is. Like I said, I set up for this and I thought I had this issue kind of taken care of. I took several steps to try to prevent this. Um, I might have to adjust my plans for the future if this becomes such a big issue like this. Because the last couple, last week was just awful. Last week was awful. So let's try this. Let's try something. Because this helped before when I adjusted the lighting setup. Maybe I should just do this. Let's see how this works. Right now it's working all right. But anyway, once again, sorry about the lagging. There's honestly not a whole lot I can do about it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the trivia at least. And yeah, what do you guys want to discuss? Or you can ask me questions now. Throw them at me. Throw me some questions. Let me know what you think about some of the news topics. Try to think of some good, interesting questions for me, like something a little different that people don't normally ask. Um, I addressed this earlier, but if something happens with this, I'm not able to go out there like I did last week. Because we're in a situation right now where I can't really go out there and present a live stream from out there. So, unfortunately, that's not in the cards this week. And plus, last week I had the air off because it was so nice out. Well, it's so hot today that the air is running, and that microphone that I would have to use out there would just pick up so much noise from the air conditioner running, I'm sure. So, is there a coaster model that you think is elite, but most think is standard? Um, I'm gonna go with just like the large scale gravity groups. I mean, I guess most people think most of those are elite coasters, but I think even some of those ones get overlooked a lot. Like some of the large scale gravity groups, like Kima Boardwalks, Bullet, and the coasters that they have in China at the Happy Valley parks, and even Hades. That's getting a little bit more attention now because they're open. But yeah, your home park is not opening this year. Funtown in Saco, Maine. That stinks. That really stinks. Where did I get the name Coaster Daddy? Yeah. So where did I get the name? I actually didn't come up with a name myself. I was throwing around a few ideas. I only had like two or three ideas. They were just kind of all right. One of those names was actually Coaster Cafe, and that was one of the better names I had. And obviously, now I use the name Coaster Cafe for my live stream, and it works perfect for the live stream. But I didn't really like that as a channel name, because I wasn't going to be, you know, yeah. So anyway, my wife and her friend, I was talking about it with them, and they sort of thought it was funny. And the one was like, "Oh, how about you call it Coaster Daddy?" And I immediately knew when they said that. I'm like, Coaster Daddy is my name. So that's how that name came to be. So what would happen if RMC and B&M went out of business? Well, if for some horrible reason that happened, Intamin would have a lot more business, I think, as well as a lot of other smaller manufacturers. We'd probably see a lot more of those new school Vekoma coasters in the US and some of the SNS coasters. So, yeah, in a way, it would be good for other companies. Hopefully, that never happens. But if Kings Island put a dive coaster where Vortex was, what would the main name be? Okay, what would they call it? Huh? Ziz. No, not Ziz. I honestly don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. The ledge, maybe. I know that's not really menacing, but doesn't have that bite to it. But the ledge, rumor name as well for Canada's Wonderland. Do I think any more arrow loopers will be converted into hypers? No, no, that's not gonna happen. The case of Steel Phantom, that was like such a special case, and it worked for the time. For the time, that was perfect. It was Steel Phantom wasn't that old, but a lot of people didn't like the ride, so they had Morgan convert it, and it just wouldn't be the same if they did it to, like if they would have taken Vortex, for example, and tried to convert it into a hypercoaster, like that just wouldn't have been the same. Phantom's Revenge, it's a special case because of the way it's built into the terrain and everything. They were able to truly transform it into, it was just perfect for that time and that park. But for all the other arrow loopers, it just wouldn't make sense. What about Mind Blower? If you're, I don't know, what about it? The name? If you're asking about the name, I think it's a fine name. Is your favorite word menacing? You said it a lot in your best roller coaster names videos. That is not my favorite word. Um, but I do menacing coaster names as you guys saw, I'm sure. So he explained that in Talking Trimless. Yeah, I'm guessing you're asking about the name question. I've actually answered that question a lot, but am I a pass holder for any parks? I have a Cedar Fair Platinum Pass. That's currently all I have. I've only ever owned a pass actually for Cedar Fair's. I was going to have a Six Flags membership for this year because I was supposed to go to Six Flags Great Adventure a couple weeks ago actually, and obviously that didn't happen. Um, so I still only have a Cedar Fair pass. Finally woke up on time for Coaster Cafe. It's hard to do on a Saturday in the West Coast. Nice. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yeah, trivia is done already. You missed it. I always start at noon. I always start at noon, so got to make sure you're here on time. Started at noon last week, obviously. That's a different story. But what would happen if SeaWorld Orlando's finally getting a Woody? I mean, they would have a Woody, which would be great. So, not much else to say there. Yeah, they would not pay for it, right? Okay, Random GP says, if I am 6 hours away from Kings Island and you don't want to stay there too long, just enough to get the credits, how would you plan the trip? Well, I would say go on a weekday. Um, Probably drive out there in the morning, get up super early, drive there for 6 hours, get there at opening time. Uh, Take advantage of the early entry if you're a platinum pass holder. Get on everything, and it sounds like you just want to get all the credits and go. So just get on everything, leave as early as you can, drive 6 hours back home. I guess. Yeah, hopefully that helps you a little bit. Basically, go on a weekday and get there at opening time, or use the early entry if you can. So yeah, talking Trimless, they're great, very professional. They do great work. There's a lot of good coaster podcasts now that are coming out. Do I think B&M will start to make more unique and innovative layouts? Yeah, I think they will. I think they're maybe starting to realize they need to push themselves a little bit more. And hopefully, with whatever the surf coaster turns out to be, hopefully that's going to be sort of the beginning of that. So, what if Tool was made into a roller coaster? Probably be very snappy, whippy, lots of crazy inversions. Yeah. Terra Medica is not opening this year, and they have a Zamperla hybrid mine train, which is weird. I'll have to check that out. I don't remember that ride. So, yeah, Florida's missing a giga. BGT needs to get one. Have I have not made it to any parks that have reopened. No, I've thought about going to some soon here, but I haven't made it to any yet. Talking Trimless is on Spotify. It's a podcast that you listen to, and it's on Spotify and Apple Music, I believe, too. Okay, good question, Coaster Key. Coaster Key has a great question here, so listen up, everybody. He says, "Good coaster podcast. What do you recommend other than your favorite coaster sucks and talking trimless?" Okay, well, like he said, your favorite coaster sucks and talking trimless. Those are two great podcasts. There's also Ride This One, which is if you're under 18, I don't condone listening to that. I don't really listen to that one myself, but that's one option. I love Coaster Radio. Coaster Radio is a great one. The Chain Lift does a podcast. They actually just finally released a new podcast episode yesterday. So the Chain Lift does a really good podcast that you can find on YouTube now. Um, there's the Coasters and Toasters that Thrill Central has been doing. That's a very new one. It's only like 3 or 4 episodes right now. So there's that. There is let's see, the Angelo Giles podcast. I was actually on that as well. That's on YouTube. You can find the Angelo Giles podcast. He mostly interviews enthusiasts, but he interviews other people as well. Um there is, let's see. I know I'm missing one. There's one I'm missing. Yeah, Coaster Radio is really good. Talking Trimless is good. Your favorite coaster sucks. That's the original one I listened to. So there's some really good ones out there. The Chain Lift podcast, like I said. I've never stayed at Hotel Breakers. Oh, and Coast to Coaster. Coast to Coaster, it's ran by Off the Rails. They only have like 6 episodes right now. Hopefully they release another one soon, but that's a really good one. Coast to Coaster is actually might be my favorite. It's a really good podcast. So Tool as a coaster would have odd pacing. Yes, it would. Very odd pacing. Yeah, doing a Florida trip does seem very difficult. I definitely wouldn't want to do it right now, but yeah. Why is Aiden has a unique trivia question? What FAA beacon is located on top of Fury 325, Intimidator, and King Ka? I have no idea. Um, Oh yeah, Theme Park ERT. Yes. Thank you, Coaster Hour. Theme Park ERT is a really good one as well. You can find his on YouTube. I've been on that too. Let's see. I've been on Talking Trimless, Your Favorite Coaster Sucks, Theme Park ERT, Angelo Giles podcast. And there might be a new one coming out soon too that I'll be on. So be on the lookout. Um yeah. Yeah. Theme Park ERT is great. So Holiday World or Michigan's Adventure, Holiday World all day long. So no competition there. I hope I can get to Hollywood Nights this year. I'm actually thinking about maybe doing Hollywood Nights and Keys to the Kingdom. That would be amazing. I might try to do that, but I have no concrete plans for it. So, and maybe I'll even get to Indiana Beach at some point. So, you've done Coasters and Toasters and another one that hasn't released yet. Nice, nice. My thoughts on the Gilroy Gardens new for 2021 B&M Strata Hypermodel. Um, you know, I think they could have done better. You know, they really could have invested a little bit more into something a little bit bigger. It would have, paid off a lot more. So I don't think anybody's going to go ride it. Yeah, I did mention that earlier. Thank you, Christian, for mentioning it. Blackpool Pleasure Beach is extending its season till halfway through December. So pretty exciting. They should have gotten a 500-foot B&M coaster with a lift hill. Absolutely. You guys should know that I'm not going to pick between channels. I love all these channels. These are all great channels. So I'm not going to be picking between any of them. I don't think I could. Extreme Thrills did not steal my idea. Our videos were released one day apart. It takes a lot longer than a day to produce a video like that. So, and that's not even my original idea. Other people have done that video before, and surely more people will. We don't own the trademarks to those ideas. Anybody can cover them. Michigan's Adventure getting a new coaster relocation from their own park. Yeah, that's true. They are. Diamond Stack or Behemoth Stack? Diamond Stack. Most anticipated 2020 coaster pre-COVID delays. I always have a different answer for this, it seems like. I'll say Pantheon though, because it looks I'm very curious about it. So yeah, Falcon's flight isn't gonna happen. Not confirmed, but I'm sure it probably won't. No, the B&M Strata is a joke. It's a joke. I don't know my favorite station music because I'm not like up on all that like a lot of people are. I have been thinking though of doing a video talking about favorite station music, so I need to like go listen to some of it. I have heard some of it besides the ones at Cedar Point and stuff, but yeah, I think it is too. I don't like the idea of like ranking channels. That's just like it's like why? Like I feel like nobody really wants to watch that. It just yeah, no. Yeah, yeah, a park like Michigan's Adventure is way overdue for any kind of investment. And if they're not going to get something as cheap as like the Hyper GTX or the Raptor or something like that, like they're never going to get anything because those rides are dirt cheap. Like they're so cheap. Good bang for your buck for sure. You wish Riddler's Revenge music was louder in the station. I'll I'm guessing it's quiet. I have no idea since I haven't been there, but yeah, you should be able to hear it fine. BGT absolutely needs a Giga. I agree. Oh, Nitro Station music? Okay. I've never heard that one mentioned. I'll have to look it up. Yeah. Nice, nice. Yeah. Yeah, Iron Gwazi, $9 million. I mean, that's mind-boggling. A coaster that huge costs $9 million. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh yeah, OK Coasters is amazing. Really good channel. Okay, Christian says he loves the Icon, Blue Fire, Oblivion, Nitro, and Helix station music. I know Helix is a really popular one. Yeah. And Oblivion too. Yeah, I've heard really good things about the Riddler station music, and I've actually listened to that quite a while ago too. So it's good. So BGW needs a B&M Flyer theme to a Welsh Dragon. That sounds incredible. That sounds like it'd be awesome. What park needs a Giga the least that isn't a park that already has a Giga? The least? I mean, you could nominate tons of parks for that. I don't know. Nitro is the Mortal Kombat theme. Oh, Six Flags. I did not know that. Oh, it is literally the Mortal Kombat theme. Okay. Wow. Wow. See, if I would have heard it, like I wouldn't have known because I wouldn't have known either that it was the Mortal Kombat theme. So thank you for pointing that out. El Toro's not going to get arm seed for a very long time if it ever happens, but it better, buddy. Six Flags. I'm a clone. Accurate. Yeah, those are cursed words. I agree. See, Great American Screw Machine station music is awesome, but Wicked Twisters just creeps me out. I love the Wicked Twister station music. It's so underrated. Oh, they have a deal to use it. Okay. Well, but still, it's just kind of cheap. Like, it's just kind of lazy. Like, they could get a pre-recorded score from like I'm a Score or something, or just anybody. They could get a nice sounding pre-recorded score that isn't like used for a huge video game, you know. My favorite soft drink, um, I would say probably Diet A&W cream soda. I'll go with Diet A&W cream soda. DC Rivals music, okay. Oh yeah, Six Flags Fiesta Texas. That'd be a good park to have a Giga at for sure. Yep, cream soda. Yeah, a Mac Giga would be amazing to see, especially for a park like Hershey, for sure. Let's see, the top spin at Great Adventure had advertisements everywhere that the GP call it Twix Spinner instead of Twister. Classic Six Flags. Oh yeah, on point with their strategy. So mix orange Fanta and Pib Extra. I actually can't drink regular pop, so yeah, I gotta stay away from regular pop. Unless my sugar's low, then I could have a little bit. But sounds good though. Sounds good. The Demon theme song. Okay. Next coaster for Fiesta Texas. Hopefully an Axis. I'm gonna say Axis. What Woody would I bring back that got RMC'd? Good question. Probably Colossus at Six Flags Magic Mountain. It looked like that was actually somewhat of a decent ride. You've heard X2 be called the Twix ride or Twix coaster. Nice. Do you think any of the new Vacomas will come to the States soon? I think one would be cool at Holiday World or Hershey Park. Yeah, I think we'll see. I could see one at least coming, but it might be a while. Zamperla trying to improve their Thunderbird model. I think it's great that they're trying to improve it. It looks like an amazing layout. It looks like a really fun ride. So the fact that they're trying to work on that and improve it, I think it's great. Okay, Christian says the Demon soundtrack is his favorite American soundtrack. Nice. Do I think the West Coast will ever get a good hypercoaster? Eventually, I think eventually they will. Yeah, they don't have a standout hypercoaster. Thoughts on the name Twixter? It's kind of cool, kind of cheesy, kind of cool. Twixter, I like it. One day I went to Whataburger and filled my cup with everything except water and tea and called it Diet Dr. Fruit Root Kool-Aid. Nice, nice. Sounds like an abomination. Goliath at Magic Mountain is trash. That seems to be the consensus. That's what I hear from most people. And it's such a shame because they could have done so much with it. I mean, the trains look super comfortable. Like I feel like those trains look super comfortable and it could have been such a good ride if they would have done more with the layout, you know. The drop was a little steeper and it just had I don't know, just better elements, I guess. What would happen if a boardwalk got a giga? Um we'd be flabbergasted, I'd say. Not like it's going to happen, but the boardwalk would sink. Yeah, it would. It would. Boomerang, boomerang, or boomerang. I'll go with boomerang for. Okay, Christian says, why do you think more zero launch slash lift hill tower coasters haven't been built? They're like the better version of a Eurofighter. They're cheap filling rides with a compact footprint. Good question. I have no idea because they look like a great value. They look great. From what I've heard, your stomach does not drop on Goliath at Magic Mountain. I believe it. The CGA getting a hypercoaster, I think eventually. Which Goliath looks best? The one at Wallaby Holland, um, or maybe the one at Great America, but probably the one at Wallaby Holland. Wildcat, 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 Wild Mouse. Roller coaster, roller coaster, roller coaster, roller coaster, rolly coaster. Titan at Over Texas doesn't have that much airtime, but the lap bars don't even touch me. Yeah, those trains, once again, they just look really comfortable. Coaster Hour says, I'm just imagining Santa Cruz with a Giga, and I don't think it would make the park better. You sacrifice the feel of the park by putting that in. Yeah, as much as a joke as it is, because we know that's not going to happen, obviously. Um, I think it would ruin a lot of that, a lot of that charm for sure. I definitely agree. I like the feel of those old classic boardwalks that are well taken care of like that. So say Dubai might be getting the zero launch you're speaking of. Oh, really? Okay. See, Jason says, I feel like Marineland is going to shut down because the park is almost nothing. They have never do anything about it. Well, they're trying to change that. They're supposed to be adding some pretty big additions in the coming years, including a rumored roller coaster. So, pretty excited about Marineland's future with the wife taking over now. Since the husband passed away who used to own it, he was very stingy with the money. He didn't want to put anything into it. And the wife is really trying to do a lot with that park. So, see. Wicked is a decent ride. First half is really fun, but then it kind of meanders around. Also, the airtime on the tower isn't as good as you'd expect. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Looks like a great ride, though, for that park. Suspended thrill coasters. Let's see. Over Texas runs Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast with two trains. Yes, they do. What park used to be called Deer Park? I feel like I know the answer to this, but I cannot remember which park it is. Uh, Coaster Hour says, I love Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Giant Dipper is amazing. And Sea Serpent is an elite kiddie family coaster. All right, nice. It looks awesome. I think Giant Dipper looks great. I love, you guys know I love those old classic wooden coasters like Big Dipper at Geauga Lake. That was like one of my favorite rides. I love that ride. I miss that ride so much. Yeah, Giant Dipper like at Geauga Lake. That was fantastic. Had great airtime. Uh, Christian says the boardwalk near me, it has this crazy Reverchon spinning coaster that's on the end of the pier. It's pretty insane. They get too much hate. I agree. I've been on the Reverchon spinning wild mouse at Kennywood called Exterminator. It's a really fun ride. So yeah, Wicked does seem kind of similar to Skyrocket in a way. We don't talk about Undertow though. Yeah, you didn't like that ride, did you? I actually like those Mauer spinners a lot. Like Steel Dragon at Waldemere is such a good ride. Very fun. Yeah, and I love Skyrocket at Kennywood for sure. Let's see. Coaster Hour says it was so tame and boring. I hope the other Mauer spinners are better and the brakes don't destroy the pacing. Yeah, I don't think they have bad pacing. I mean, the one I've been on it many times, and I think it has great pacing. It's a super fun, very fast paced. So somewhat intense at parts. Somewhat intense. Great Escape versus Michigan's Adventure. Um, Great Escape probably by a small margin. They both look like nice little parks, honestly. What's my favorite independent-ish park? I like that independent-ish park. Um, Well, out of the ones you list, like Hershey, Kennywood, Holiday World, those are the ones I've been to. My favorite is or no, I haven't been to Hershey. What am I saying? My favorite is Holiday World out of the small independent parks. And like Waldemere is great too. Kennywood's awesome. So see, in terms of classic coasters, I miss Wild Mouse at Blackpool so much. Looked like a great ride. It's one of the few coasters I feared for my life. Also, Mauer coasters get too much hate. RRR and Winges are great. Yeah, those look like great rides for sure. They look really good. You didn't get the Wilderness Run credit at Cedar Point. I rode it a long time ago when I was a kid, when it was Junior Gemini. So I actually do have that credit. What if there's a category below kiddie coaster? I almost feel like there is, like those super do nothing kiddie coasters. Yeah, Kennywood is owned by Park Reno. Yeah, it's not technically an independent park. But he said independent-ish. He didn't say independent. I think he meant like maybe smaller miscellaneous parks or ones that are independent. So yeah, Hyper GTX would be great for Lagoon and a lot of other parks too. So yeah, Cedar Point has 5 Intamins. Yep. Probably more than any other park. Maybe, maybe. Yeah, BGT needs more airtime, which Iron Gwazi will fill that nicely. But all right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to end this stream here now for today. I really appreciate all of you guys joining in once again. It's been fun. I know there were some issues in this one as well, but I think eventually we got them sort of ironed out, and everything went fairly well. So, once again, thank you guys for making this a good show. And I will probably see you guys again next time. If I don't do another live stream in the coming week, I'll see you next Saturday on Coaster Cafe once again, episode 25. Yeah, this was episode 24. I forgot to mention that. But yes, I will. I'll see you guys next week, and I'll have a new video coming out some point in the next few days. So be on the lookout for that. And you guys have a good one. Stay safe. Take care. See you in the parks.